I haven't made a video in over a month because there's been nothing important to say until now. I haven't been this bullish for almost a year, and I'm very excited to show you what I currently see in this market. Please remember that nothing I ever say is financial advice. Last video, I talked about the fact that this low right here could just be us making a higher low for August before we continue on with a rally for total 3. And judging by this chart right now, it looks like I was fairly spot on with my call. I still think it's valid to presume that we have a 2023 style run ahead of us for altcoins. So what happened in 2023? Back in this year, we saw a June low, which you could argue was the final low before we embarked on this whole rally. From this point until the end of the year, it's where Solana did a 9x. It's where Caspa did a 13x. And some lower caps like OTK doing close to a 100x. It's just that the biggest retail wave came in here during Q1, which is why people often refer to this whole rally as the Q1 rally. This is where YouTube got insane views. If you came in during this cycle, let's say it's a high probability you enter the market around these times, but some gains already started back here. The same way we're seeing altcoins today, primarily in the top 20s, being up a lot from the April lows of this year. Ethereum is up a lot, Solana is up a lot, XRP, BNB, etc. And this slow and steady grind of total 3 is what I think can translate into us getting a similar pump in Q4 of 2025 as we got in Q4 of 2023. If we were to do what we did in 2023 in terms of percentages, we're essentially looking at almost a 1.8 trillion target for total 3. Now, the reason why I like this prediction is because although this leaves room for a great altcoin rally, it's still fairly conservative. If you compare this rally to the 2024 Q4 rally measured from today, you will actually see that the 2024 Q4 rally is bigger than the 2023 Q4 rally. And you might be asking, why not just go for the 2024 rally? Another reason why I think expecting a 2023 style run is more realistic is because the liquidity rotation we're seeing now reminds me more of a traditional liquidity rotation rather than the universal, more fast-paced pump we got back in Q4 of 2024. Sure, we had a couple of narratives outperforming in 2024, like AI agents, but all in all, most altcoins started holding Bitcoin's hand regardless of narrative nor market cap, meaning that this whole Bitcoin rally, alts followed along. This is actually not what happened in 2023. In 2023, leading into 2024, you had more narrative-driven pumps. The 2024 style run also happened on a shorter time frame, only from the beginning of November until the beginning of December. 2025 looks completely different. We've seen Bitcoin pump, we've seen Ethereum pump, and now we're in the process of seeing other top 20 coins pump. From a liquidity rotation perspective, I don't know how much clearer this can get. Like I said, we also seen a more gradual uptrend starting from way back here in April. Now here comes a very important thing. I do actually predict that this rally could extend into 2026, as I called on my X. I strongly recommend following my X as I give out good predictions here. This is my third major prediction. The two prior ones, which very few people actually dare to call, were spot on. So far, a perfect track record. As I state in this prediction, I do believe the top will come later than what people think. Just late enough for everyone to dismiss the 4-year cycle theory, call for a super cycle, no more bear market because institutions will never let it go so far down before we actually get a devastating bear market. I was present in the 2021 and 2017 peak, and exactly the same rhetoric was back here as I'm seeing today. People said that institutions will never let Bitcoin go far down in a bear market. I'm going to flip that around and say that institutions are the reason we're going far down in a bear market. I'll cover this more in detail in another video. If it so happens that we get some sort of continuation of this bull market and that my prediction is correct, that we actually do extend into Q1 of 2026, then that would include a continuation for altcoins as well. That would mean that we would go past this 2023 style fractal we have here and continue upwards. I think using the Q1 extension we had back in 2024 after this 2023 style rally might be a bit too bullish, but it's just to show you what is possible. Before we take a look at what we can expect on a shorter time frame, now that we've entered the most bullish quarter for crypto, like I promised, my portfolio is going to be shown every other video. So here is how the portfolio is currently looking. The three biggest bags are still stablecoins, Ethereum, and Solana. The rest here are other high, mid, and lower caps. The reason why I'm still sitting on 27% in stables right now is because I feel like this is my equilibrium at the current stage of the market. If we go up, I'm more than enough exposed in the market. If we go down, I'm willing to deploy more of this capital into the other picks. Now, this stablecoin position has increased a bit because we have been taking a lot of profit from Ethereum and Solana because the Discord had really good entries. So far, rotation is going exactly as planned, rotating from both Ethereum and Solana at this point into new high, mid, and lower caps. I've been talking about this rotation for more than a year now, so it shouldn't come as a shock to anyone. And let me say something you have never seen any altcoin influencer talk about. I can guarantee you that. Before you say that buying Ethereum and Solana is not going to give you a 20x you would get from another low cap project, just know that when Ethereum, that accounted for 30% of my portfolio, does a 3x, that's similar to an altcoin that accounts for 5% of your portfolio doing a 13x. If it only accounts for 1% of your portfolio, which is a fair allocation for a low cap project, you would need a 61x to beat Ethereum at 30% of your portfolio doing only a 3x. And that's you buying at the lows and selling perfectly at 61x. Just think about that for a second. This right here is why I always advocate for having big positions in big caps. It does not make me popular to say stuff like this. I just really need you to understand this because as a YouTuber, it's a lot easier to shill a project doing a 61x or 601x for that matter, rather than a quote unquote boring 3x. Although this boring 3x right here is what is going to make you not only 3x this cycle, but of course it's going to get compounded through rotation, which is what we're currently doing in the Discord right now. I'm still going for a 20x overall on my portfolio this cycle. So if you want to be a part of this, then check out the VIP. We buy big caps like Ethereum at the bottom, Solana at the bottom, Say at the bottom. And we're also buying a lot of mid and lower caps as we speak that have good potential for this upcoming run. We also do a lot of leverage trading because we have a very experienced technical analyst in the group, which has an amazing track record that has made people a lot of money. Prices will increase now that we're moving into Q4, so don't miss out. Over to a shorter time frame, what can we expect? I think most of us can agree that Q4 is going to be bullish and that October is going to be a bullish month. And especially Octobers in the post-halving years have historically been extremely bullish. In 2017, we saw a 47% gain, and in 2021, we saw a 39% gain. We also started pumping quite early in these months. If we go back to 2017, you can actually see that we started pumping only a couple of days after October initiated, while in October of 2021, we actually started pumping immediately. Now, this Sunday, we actually closed above the bull market support band. This is a very crucial level as Bitcoin always tests this level in post-halving years. If we didn't manage to close this level, then the natural level to look out for would be the 50-week moving average. But the fact that we managed to close this crucial level makes me think that short time from here should be very bullish. I think it's reasonable to assume that we can get an all-time high for Bitcoin in October like we got last year. But with that being said, we have plenty of reasons to expect volatility, a major one being the government shutdown. So what about altcoins? With regards to Bitcoin dominance, first of all, it's really important to view this metric in the respective context of the entire market. Bitcoin dominance alone is not going to tell you if altcoins are bullish. As a lot of other metrics, is in reality a reactive metric. By the time it drops significantly, the altcoin rally may already be underway. So waiting for a magical number from this indicator alone is not going to help you. With that being said, it can still give very valuable information regarding the overall market dynamics and potential shift regarding sentiment. More specifically, shift from Bitcoin to altcoins. From the top here of 66%, we're now seeing a continuing downtrend. In fact, this drop percentage-wise is actually bigger than the drop we got back in December. The difference is, of course, that December meant universal altcoin rally, while this drop is mainly due to Ethereum and a couple of other most top 20 performers. Now, some are calling for a reversal here where Bitcoin dominance is going to embark on an uptrend. Although I can see Bitcoin dominance climb to perhaps the low 60s, I do believe that 66% was the top for the cycle. Anything above this seems highly unlikely at this stage in the cycle. However, like I said a minute ago, you have to view Bitcoin dominance in the respective context of the entire market. Bitcoin dominance doesn't need to drop 20% for altcoins to pump. For instance, in Q1 of 2024, you didn't see a drop you perhaps would expect after seeing the rally we had for Total 3. Bitcoin dominance during this period actually went sideways and actually did climb a little bit from the end of January. And this was the most euphoria we have seen this cycle in terms of altcoins, where people, including myself, made ridiculous amount of money from altcoins. This is something to keep in mind. We're still seeing a very clear liquidity rotation at this point, so don't get too discouraged when you see charts like this screaming all season. Most likely, your time will come. However, I think it's really important to constantly be on the lookout for new plays, really new narratives. Holding old stuff is fine, but just know that time is not on your side when it comes to these older coins. Again, take a look at historical snapshots from 2021 and 2017, and you will see that a lot of coins have in fact died. And this is in the top 100. All coins become outdated. Markets favor novelty. If you're not actively gem hunting within these narratives you see on the screen right now, you run the risk of missing out on a lot of rallies. I will be making tier lists within these narratives moving forward. If this is something you want to see, then let me know by leaving a like and make sure you are subscribed. Finally, I'm going to leave you with some really good advice. Look for winners. They will keep on winning. Take a good look at your altcoin that has been bleeding for the last couple of months and ask yourself why this should win. A winner that has proven that it can pump and hold key support areas, especially from the lows back in April, is Say. Say is outperforming every other layer 1 within the same market cap bracket. Just from the April lows here, we're already up 2.5x. Remember, this is also a pick where you can afford to have bigger size position. Imagine this getting rotated into another high cap, making another 5 to 7x. These are the coins you need to be on the lookout for and how you're going to make the big money this cycle. In the VIP, we've been making a lot of money with the top 20s, and we're now in the process of rotating into other coins. I also started a new channel here, which is called Daily Alpha, where I go through all the gems I'm looking at within different narratives. The response so far has been great. I do study the market at least 12 hours every single day, and I share everything, including low cap gems. I look forward to see you there. Take care and stay safe.